I found out pretty quickly that the my pediatrician didn't know much about treating Down syndrome, and other practitioners in the area. I wasn't getting the answers I wanted. The day after we got the diagnosis of Down syndrome, for sure, there was a whole community-wide Down syndrome clinic, and so they brought all the experts in the area, and I didn't like any of the answers.
Ah,
So I learned very quickly that I was going to have to find the answers myself. And so I went online to found a really good group of parents that were experienced and they had been researching. And so they kind of taught me the ropes, and I went from there. And then I had got so much information that I had to put together a blog so that I could keep track of it and share it with others more easily.
oh, wonderful. And you've done such a great job. I've been so impressed with the volume of information and the detail on your blog. It's amazing. So,
Thanks.
so since you've helped a lot of parents of kids with Down syndrome, what are the most common issues that come up health wise?
Oh, yeah, I hear a wide range. But some of the common and first questions are about congestion, constipation, teaching math, supplements, where to start, what kind of doctors. I mean, you name it, I've been asked probably.
Okay. Well, let's take one of those. How about congestion? Because I know with my daughter, that's an issue with sleeping at night, and just especially this time of year in fall and winter, just like almost constant. One cold going into another. So what can we do about it?
Well, one of the main problems is right here is underdeveloped in those with Down syndrome, and there's a lot of different reasons for that. One is their bodies just can't properly utilize nutrients, and so it just doesn't get formed correctly. So one way to help that is by supplementing, so that the supplement's already broken down, so their body can more easily assimilate it. So that can help. And then another thing is it's called craniosacral therapy, and you would go to someone like an osteopath, sometimes a massage therapist. There's different degrees of expertise on it. And what they do is they gently kind of move some of the bones around the face and head, and it opens up the airways. I realized this when, before Jet was born, I had it done on me, and suddenly I could breathe better, I could hear better, and then when I started doing it with Jet, I got great results.
Wow.
And so that helps open the airways. And then what I used to use all the time, well, just taking saline and clearing out his nose with a nose Frida. I don't know if you've heard of that, but
I don't know what the Frida is.
it's just it's kind of gross, but it works really well. um, what you do is it has a little hose, and so then you put one part in the little baby's nose, and you put one in your mouth, and it has a filter, so nothing gets to you. But you just use your motion to suck it out, and that way you can control exactly, and harder or lighter, whatever. Um, and and then another thing is it's called XLEAR, and it's a saline solution that has xylitol in it,
Oh, right. Yes.
and so it thins out the mucus, and
Ah.
so then that way it's less mucusy. And then the last thing is something called AIR, and you can get it from a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, and it takes a couple months to completely work, but you just give a little bit a day, and even the congestion like stuck all the way back in their head, like that's how Jets was, it slowly thins it out, and then it's gone, and you just don't have a problem.
Amazing.
Unless there's a cold, and then you have it
Right.
like a normal amount of time you'd have a cold, not every day of their life.
All right. So Jet really doesn't have an issue with congestion.
No,
That's
unless
awesome.
he has a cold.
You're right. Have you found any foods tie in with that as
Oh,
well?
definitely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, dairy.
Yeah.
Dairy is huge culprit in causing congestion. I mean, when you think about it, even if you stop dairy yourself and then you start up again, you'll start to get like, just kind of thickening of, yeah, the mucus. So avoiding dairy definitely helps.
Okay, all right.
Like with Jet, he had and still does. He's recovering from a lot of social issues and a lot of sensory issues. And he did was a big stemmer in a lot of different ways. We've gotten rid of
A
all
big
of them
what?
except
What was the word you used?
stemming
What
when
is
they
that?
do repetitive motion or
Ah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's so we've gotten rid of all of those except for one. And his sensory issues are almost all gone. The last one was sound sensitivity, and that is almost all gone. Um, so, and we use a variety of things because, yeah, it's just hard to say in a small space, and it's not one size fits all at all.
Right, okay. But was that related to, you were starting to say something maybe about like heavy metals or
Yeah,
some,
yeah, a lot of these issues that he's had could be, related to the vaccinations. I don't
right,
know, but all I can do is just look at the symptoms and address them.
right, right,
So
right.
and we've had really good success. So
That's
that's,
great. That says a lot.
yeah.
So, what are some of your top tips for fellow parents of kids with Down syndrome?
Well, number one, which I kind of mentioned a little bit, is getting the thyroid properly treated. A really good website is stopthethyroidmadness.com. And they have just, it lays it out so that you can really understand. And even though it's not written for someone with Down syndrome, it is a really practical guide, and it's a great place to start. And one major problem with the treatment for thyroid issues in the Down syndrome population is that the doctors don't seem to be educated about it. So you have to teach yourself. And going to that one website, that would be really helpful. And that way you can find out tests that really are helpful, like TSH is not the be all end all test for hypothyroidism, which your doctor does not know probably. So that's number one, is get the thyroid properly treated. Like if you think your child is properly treated for hypothyroidism, but they're still having symptoms, like if they still have constipation, they're not being properly treated. So that's major. And then another thing is diet. Um, all organic, healthy food. It's easier than you think. Um, Avoiding dairy, it gums up the folate receptors and causes congestion, like we said. Avoiding gluten for many different reasons. It's just gluten is just an is a inflammatory substance across the board. Doesn't matter if you have Down syndrome or not. They don't need the you know, extra problem. Um, let's see. Another top tip is to look beyond traditional therapy. A lot of times, OT, PT, a speech therapist, I feel doesn't go about it the correct way. Some of them are amazing and awesome, but mostly I'm seeing that they are putting our children into positions that they're not ready for, which can actually be damaging. So, looking into alternative therapies like the not Benel method, neurodevelopmental therapy, MNRI, things that we don't normally hear about but are greatly beneficial to kids with Down syndrome.
Okay, so really looking into some supplemental approaches like that.
Yes.
How about supplements? Let's talk supplements. I would love to hear what your favorite supplements are.
Boy, it's hard to say. I think magnesium is a really big one. A lot of times people think that calcium is so great for our bodies, but when you read about it, I really don't think it's all it's cracked up to be. I don't give Jet any calcium, I give him magnesium. And from with magnesium, I see that he calms down, he sleeps better, he stops grinding his teeth. It's yeah, great. So that's one of my favorites. And another one is curcumin, and that's really good for the brain. I like the Longvita curcumin, and what they do is they put in a fat with it so that the body can process it better, and it breaks the blood-brain barrier and gets to the brain, and it helps the heart. And its curcumin is like amazing. Let's see, another one would be green tea extract or EGCG. That fixes a lot of issues in our kids. And it helps with cognition as well. That's definitely one of my favorites. And then let's see. I really like Neuroprotect. It reduces the inflammation in the brain, and all it is concentrated bioflavonoids taken from fruits and vegetables. Um, that one I love. With that, Jet got a huge boost in social behavior. He never had a social smile before he took Neuroprotect. He didn't laugh. Um, he, yeah, huge changes. I never got a hug from him, or he said his first "I love you" when after taking Neuroprotect. So
Wow.
yeah, so that's definitely one of my personal favorites, so you can
Great.
understand why.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And do these supplements typically have like a child's dose in the bottle, or do you sort of have to figure out if it's meant for an adult, like divide it by how many pounds your child is, or how do you figure
Yeah,
out the dose?
you have to figure it out on your own because
Okay.
a lot of times, I mean, it depends on what it is. Magnesium, of course, there's a dose for children. But a lot of times, if it's not, double blind, placebo studied, that's not exactly for children with Down syndrome. People are afraid to even guess. The best way to do it is, do the research. I have a lot of different links in my blog that have dosage choices. I like to go to someone to do muscle testing for each different supplement to find out, does my child need this and how much does my child need? Um, and then, like with magnesium or vitamin C, you can do it to bowel tolerance. And so you give it until they have a blowout, and then okay, that's the level, and then you just go down one, and then that's how much they need. And sometimes it changes. So yeah, it just
Okay.
depends.
Great. Are you a fan of probiotics, by the way?
Yes, I am a fan. I do avoid the one that has the strep strain in it,
Ooh.
just because yeah, because I just heard from a lot of different moms that has caused their kid problems, and so I just avoid that one. Um, and yeah, and each one does a lot of different things. So yeah, probiotics are I'm a fan.
Okay, great. Back on the green tea extract, I don't know if this is an issue or not, but I had read somewhere that tea absorbs a lot of aluminum from the soil. So they say to avoid giving our kids, the black tea or I think even green tea, don't they? I think all the teas come from the same tea plant, they're just processed differently. So I kind of was avoiding. At this point, I'm just giving my daughter the chamomile tea. I figure that's one tea that hopefully is safe. But I don't know. Any thoughts on that with the aluminum? Or
Yeah, you can with all the supplement companies, some are better than others. Some of them have third party that will test it for them, and it tests the metal content or whatever. I do avoid buying supplements from China because I personally don't trust their testing. Um, so yeah, you just have to do your research and find a company or find a brand that you really, feel good about. I do have on my blog how to choose, better supplements, especially for something like ginkgo is a popular supplement for children with Down syndrome, and I have like a 5-part criteria on what brand to buy.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Yeah, and I love how you on your site you like break down that you give Jet all those individual things. I haven't gotten a consult with you yet, which I'm going to, so I can find out how to do that. But in the meantime, I've just been giving her the little, it's like a gummy vitamin that's like sugar free. I think it's sweetened just with like natural fruit extracts.
Yeah, I mean, just with each thing, you just have to, think about your child, watch the symptoms, and just go through everything. It's really hard to find a good multivitamin. Um, I don't give Jet one. That's why I give all his individually. But I did find one for my child with cerebral palsy that I do like for him.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really there's just so many variables. It's really hard to find a good multivitamin. I do have a post that has five, either the most popular ones and then one that I actually, two that I actually like that would be worth a try. But again, I would want a muscle test and two different companies can change the dosages and customize it.
Oh,
Yeah, Nutrichem, they can do it for you, and International Nutrition can as well, which does Nutrivene. So
oh, wonderful.
yeah, it's
Great.
just more expensive.
What about things like sauerkraut, naturally fermented foods? Are those helpful as far as like boosting our kids' natural ability to absorb nutrients?
They can be definitely, but our kids are so individual. Some of them, just cannot do fermented foods. But mostly, I'm seeing that most of our kids can do fermented foods pretty well. Um, One thing that really helps with absorption of minerals is getting the thyroid treated again, because with low thyroid, you get low stomach acid, and it's really hard to break down the food when you have low stomach acid. And
Wow.
it also is a main culprit for acid reflux, which is a main culprit for sleep issues that we don't even realize.
Wow.
Yeah,
Gosh.
yeah, the waking up all night long. Maybe it's not sleep apnea. Sometimes it is, of course, but sometimes it's silent reflux.
Wow, really good to know. Boy, yeah, because sleep issues are very common. And I thought it was more just maybe the congestion issues, but that's a really good point.
Yeah, it is. I'm working on a post right now, a sleep post. It's like 26 pages,
Wow.
so I'm gonna have to just say, okay, fine. I'm just gonna post this part and then just finish the other ones later because it's just getting bigger and bigger. But
Yeah.
yeah, sleep is a major issue, and yeah, with a variety of reasons as to why.
Okay. Getting back to the thyroid, I think my daughter did like the required thyroid test. She's 6. This was when she was much younger, actually, and it tested okay. But maybe it depends on the test you're getting.
Yeah, I would definitely test it at least every year.
Every year, wow, okay.
Yes, and I am surprised most, I mean, it says right on the care for the American Pediatric Association basic care. They they get tested every year, and unfortunately, they don't they don't test do the proper testing, but at least, yeah, at the very least, you're supposed to get tested. Yeah,
Okay.
and they probably only did the TSH, and that doesn't give you all the information. And the other thing is, I personally, from my research and from parents I've spoken to, the lab ranges that most of the doctors use, I disagree with.
Getting back to the food part, since I'm a foodie and
Hmm.
always curious about that. Any points there as far as digestibility of food?
Um, oh, well, this is what I do. I was thinking, yeah, it's very easy actually. I give both boys a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and I just put it in their water or drink or whatever, just a little bit so they drink it all day long. And
Oh,
it helps regulate the pH in the body. And yeah, I mean, I feel that, it helps them digest. Since I started treating them both actually with that, that was the method I used to help with low acid reflux. My little one has grown a lot. So
mm-hmm.
I think it is helping with with him digesting the food.
Great. Okay. Yeah, sugar, I imagine that's something you generally recommend to avoid for kids. I mean, for any child probably, but maybe
Any
particularly in the
any
case of.
person, yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah. It's wow, it's so hard to avoid sugar. I was just trying to buy uh, well, anything. And I was shocked, like I was looking at this organic black bean soup. And I like to have, soups handy so that, if I have to run or something and I'm like, here, honey, feed him this. Um, yeah, and they had one that had 8 sugars in it and the other one that had 3 sugars. Like,
Wow.
why? Why is there sugar in this? So, I mean, the best thing to do is, cook all day long and healthy food and have a date with your husband so that you spend all day long, one day a week, and just cook everything and freeze it.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, that's what I've started even doing with the beans. I used to sometimes use the Eden organic canned beans, thinking, oh, they're cooked with kombu, they don't have no BPA in the lining. But then when I found out about the aluminum thing, I went on this aluminum raid of like, okay, where's the source of aluminum? And even those juice boxes, coconut water, I can't believe all the places. And then I thought, oh my gosh, even the lining of bags with popcorn have aluminum probably. It's this shiny metallic looking. So then I started making our popcorn at home using the air popper, and I realized, oh my gosh, the cylinder down there, that's aluminum, and I'm heating that up really hot with the popcorn kernels. It's so hard to avoid, but yeah.
yeah, we make it in, in a big pot. We just do it on the stove and we just put oil and then pop it up like that.
Yeah, great.
It's, it's quick too.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, Andy, you have so much great information to share, and I know you come up with a customized plan for parents out there. How can parents access you? What do you offer as far as support for parents?
Well, I try to make my blog so that you can go in there and just kind of make your own plan and, go through and find your way. But, there's a lot of information on there, and, sometimes people just want to talk to me and get focused. And so what I try to do is just help you get focused, and just put together an action plan so that, you can prioritize what needs to be done next. And you know. Um, uh, and if you, want to talk with me, and I could give you,
I
like,
do.
I can do, like a 10% off special for anyone who mentions this wellness webinar.
Oh, wow.
Um, and you just go to dsdaytoday.blogspot.com, or if you search for Down syndrome, a day-to-day guide, you'll be able to find me. And if you go to About Me or anything like that, you can set up a Skype, or we could just talk on the phone, whatever, or email if you don't want to do that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Wonderful. Sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Andy. This has been so inspiring, and you're helping so many parents and kids out there. So thank you for all the great work you're doing. You have so much great information on your site. So thank you for.
Oh, you're welcome. And there's also Down Syndrome Options.org. And there's a lot of informational videos that are free. So if you just go to health and then informational videos, you'll be able to get a lot of good information there as well. That would be
Great.
equally as overwhelming.
Wow. That's wonderful. We need to put together a holistic health conference. I can cook and you can present
Exactly,
for Down
exactly.
syndrome. That's great. All right. Well, thanks again, Andy. And
Thank you.
yeah, and you have a wonderful day.
You too.
All righty. Take care.